Right now I want to show you how to assemble the RAM-HOL-GA25L, which is the locking cradle for the Garmin nuvi 200 wide or 200W series of units. So, first thing you've got to know is all the parts. Here, this is the back of the cradle, which has the diamond plate here, which is we are going to connect to a diamond plate here so that we can then connect it to a RAM mounting system with a ball and socket. So I've chosen the aluminum system here with a suction cup on the bottom for this example. So that's the back of the cradle where you're going to put your GPS in, and then the front will just clip on like so, and we're going to connect it all together. Also included with the cradle is some hardware. You have hardware here. You have 3 sets of screws and 2 nuts. The 3 sets of screws are just for different thicknesses of diamond plate you might use, be it the aluminum or plastic versions. Then we also have the hardware that actually allows you to connect these 2 halves together, and they will go into each corner. Now just be aware, these are just standard screw heads. You might want to swap these out if you have a security issue and you want to really lock this down. You might want to get hex heads or some other shape head so that it holds it in without someone just being able to come and take this all apart with a screwdriver. And then lastly, we have this little spacer here, which is designed to just go in the back of this little notch here where the USB cable goes. So that's all of the components for the RAM-HOL-GA25L locking cradle. Now I want to show you how to put all of these parts together and mount it. The first step is to put a diamond plate on the back of the cradle, because once you've sealed this whole thing up, you won't be able to get into these holes here and connect a diamond plate to the back. So let's do that first. We'll just drop these 2 nuts in here, like so, and then what I'm going to do is connect in the medium-sized screws, because I know they work with the aluminum plate. So let's get the aluminum plate that I have over here, and we're just going to drop it in here and then tighten that up around the nut. Now the nut's fallen into its hex hole so that I don't have to worry about holding it other than holding it in, and then my screwdriver will just tighten that in. Now what you want to do is make sure that the screws you choose out of the package, as I said, is the package of 6 different screws but 3 sets, you want to make sure that once it's screwed in, that screw doesn't protrude further than the back surface, because when your GPS is in the cradle, obviously you don't want the back of that screw scratching the back of your unit. So as I said, I chose the middle size. You can choose the shorter if it works. I just find these are the better ones. So let's put this other one in here as we go. Drop that in there, line the screws up, and then tighten this up. So once we have this all connected, we won't have to worry about putting on the ball later. I guess if you really wanted to, you could just leave the screws sitting in the nuts sitting in here, and then when you put your GPS in, they won't be able to fall out, and you can always screw this in later if that's how you want to do it. But it's just a bit easier to get it all set up initially like this. Now, the next thing you have to pre-install is the USB cable into this little USB cable holder here. Now, there's 2 types of cables that Garmin make. There is a 90-degree end, which is the general one that you'll find that comes with a unit. And then there's also a straight end, which you'll find Garmin uses a lot for connecting to computers. But there has been a case where Garmin was using the straight end for their cigarette lighter power cables for the GPSs. So I'll show you how both connect. If you're using the straight end one, it's very simple. You can actually just put your GPS into here, close up the whole system if you want, and then you can just thread your cable in through the back. Let's line it up. So that would just go through this hole like so. We'd push it in, and then there we go. The cable's all in there. And you can see through here, you can just see through here the cable head through these holes here. You can see the cable end connected into the back. So if I actually pull this GPS out, there it is connected. and then that's in. Now Ram's put 2 holes here, 2 slots in the back where you can wrap a cable tie around there and just hold that in place if this is the cable you have that connects to power on your bike or wherever you're mounting this in your car. But that's only really there if you have a straight head cable that goes into the back of your unit. Now, as I mentioned, most of these units Garmin are making at this moment come with this right angle head. So this installs a little bit different. First you have to push it in through here, and then you're going to come up like this. So I've just got this sticking in there like so. You can see there it just right angles. Now, as I said before, this is the little spacer available. If your cable can handle it, you can always drop this in here and get the spacer of the right angle. Now, just a little thing to note, if you're a bit crazy like me, you get the writing on the right way up when you drop it in, so that when you see it from the back, it's the right way up. Just a little tip if that's what you care about. And then when this cable goes in here, it will rest against that spacer, like so. You can just see in there. And then that'll stop this cable popping out if that's what it matters. Now, that space is just a general length, so if you need to cut it, feel free to cut it so it works best for your cable. In this case, it doesn't fit this particular cable, so I'm going to leave it out for the purpose of the video. But like I said, if you need to make it a bit shorter, feel free to just shave it down a bit so you can use it. So now, I need to connect this to my unit first. Now, something to be aware of is with this cradle, it's not really designed for something where you take the unit in and out of the cradle. Once it's installed, it really stays there. So with that in mind, you want to plug this cable in and let it stay in there. So if you want to put any sort of spacer other than the one that came with it, you can just stick something in there to stop that cable pulling out, but it locks in pretty well. Now that we've got all that set up, we've got the power connected, there's a cutaway here for the speaker, one here on the side for the SD card slot, and then the on-off switch on the top. We need to put the face on, and not upside down like that, but the right way up. The right way up is with the word RAM at the top, or with this notch matched up, because you can see when you take it off there is a slight notch cut in the front piece as well. So there we have it, and everything should touch all the way around like so, and there we have it. It's all connected up. The next step is to take these longer screws and drop them all in, and then screw them in to the nuts at the back. Again, these nuts, they have hex holes in the back, so you don't have to worry about using a tool for the nut. It's just a matter of putting the screw in, holding the nut into its hole, and then tighten up these screws. Again, if you want to change these screws out for ones that have a different head rather than just a head for a screwdriver, feel free. You just have to go to the hardware store and find the right size that will fit in there. So I'm going to put all these in here and then show you how it all comes together at the end. And there we go, the last of the 4 screws. So there we have it, it's all now encased. And just be aware, this is just a frame around the front of your unit, so you are touching the screen of the unit. There's not any sort of silicone or plastic cover over this. So it's not a waterproof case, it's just a locking case. Now that we've got that all assembled, I've got this suction cup here for my example, but you'd probably want to bolt it down a bit more secure than a suction cup if you're using this locking case. And there we have it. My unit's all secure in a ball and socket system. And again, if you're getting this case, you probably want to get a locking knob here and a base that can be secured by screwing it down or bolting it down to something. So there you have it. That is the RAM-HOL-GA25L, which is the locking cradle for the Garmin nuvi 200 Wide Series GPS.